I thought I was the only one in the gym, but the sound of a locker slamming shut kept following me. It was just past 2 a.m., that dead hour when the gym doesn't feel like a gym anymore. Just an empty warehouse full of mirrors and machines humming to themselves. I had my earbuds in, music way too loud. That's why the first slam startled me so badly. It cut right through everything. A sharp, metallic bang, like someone had taken a locker door and shoved it shut with all their strength. I froze mid-set, pulled my earbuds out. Silence. Just the soft hum of the air conditioning and the low buzz of the ceiling lights. I shook my head, forced a laugh. Probably the vents, I muttered, and I went back to lifting. Then it happened again. Slam. This time I knew it wasn't the vents. It came from the locker room. My mouth went dry. Still, I made myself walk over. I pushed the door open, heart thudding in my throat. Every single locker was shut. Not one ajar, not one dented. Just neat rows of metal doors, reflecting the harsh fluorescent light. I waited, standing in the middle of the room like an idiot, trying to prove to myself I wasn't scared. Nothing. Finally, I laughed again, but this time it sounded nervous. Okay, fine. I stuffed my bag deeper into my locker, slammed it shut myself, and went back out. 15 minutes later, slam. This one was closer. So close I nearly dropped the dumbbell in my hand. I looked up, eyes darting across the room. That's when I caught it. In the mirrored wall in front of me, a locker door was swinging wide open behind me. The problem was, I wasn't in the locker room. I was standing on the main floor. I spun around. Nothing. Just rows of treadmills, sitting still, waiting. My stomach dropped, and then another one. Slam. This time, down the hallway. I could see it clearly. One locker door hanging wide open, like a mouth waiting for me to come closer. I crept toward it. The hinges creaked, and right as I reached it, slam! It shut itself. I stumbled back, my throat tight, my pulse hammering in my ears. I decided I'd had enough. I grabbed my water bottle, slung my towel over my shoulder, and bolted for the exit. The keypad beeped red. Access denied. I tried again, hands shaking. Beep. Denied. I swore under my breath. Behind me, the sound started again. Creak. One locker door slowly opening, then another, and another, until the sound became a chorus. Dozens of doors groaning open at once. I turned slowly. The hallway that had been neat and silent before was now alive with metal doors yawning wide, swinging slowly, one after another, like they were being pushed open from the inside. And inside them, it wasn't empty space. It wasn't shelves. It looked darker, too dark. Like the metal frames weren't holding storage at all, like they were holding holes. My hands trembled as I tried the exit again. Denied. Behind me, slam. One door closed, another slam, closer and another, each one shutting in sequence, moving down the hallway toward me, like something was crawling its way closer, slamming them shut as it passed. I didn't wait. I threw my shoulder into the glass door until the lock gave with a sharp crack, and I stumbled out into the night air. The echoes stopped. Silence. I ran all the way to my car without looking back, but just before I pulled out of the lot, I made the mistake of glancing at the building. Every locker door was wide open again, except one. Mine. And I could see the strap of my bag sticking out of it, like someone was holding it shut from the inside. This is the Untold Archive. If you're already uneasy, subscribe now, because these are the true stories that keep people awake. Story 2. The Man in the Treadmill Reflection. I was running alone on the treadmill at 3 a.m. The place was dead quiet that night. Just me, the hum of the machines, and the sound of my sneakers hitting the treadmill belt. Every 24-hour gym has that weird vibe after midnight. Like you don't belong there. Like you're trespassing in your own membership. But this time felt worse. I kept glancing at the mirrors in front of me, mostly out of habit. They're impossible to ignore, The entire wall lined with glass, bouncing your every move back at you. That's when I saw it. A second runner. He was right behind me in the reflection, matching my pace perfectly. At first I thought maybe someone had come in without me noticing, but when I turned around, the row of treadmills was empty. I told myself I was tired, hallucinating, too much caffeine. But when I looked forward again, he was still there. Closer now, I could see details in the glass. Short hair, pale face, eyes locked on me, like he was running for me, not with me. My chest tightened. I turned my head, scanning the room again. Nothing. But when my eyes snapped back to the mirror, he was grinning. I ripped the earbuds out. The treadmill's hum seemed too loud now. The air felt thicker, heavier, like I was sharing it with someone else. I slowed the pace down. The reflection slowed too. But when I stopped completely, he didn't. He kept running. I staggered off the treadmill, nearly tripping over the side rail. My eyes never left the mirror. He was still there, running. Not looking tired, not looking human anymore. I backed away, fumbling for my phone. I thought about filming it, but my hands were shaking so badly, I couldn't even unlock the screen. Then the lights above flickered, and for a split second, I swear I saw him not in the mirror, but right behind me. I spun around, nothing. The treadmills all sat still, belts unmoving. I tried to laugh it off, force myself to breathe. Okay, enough. That's when the treadmill I'd been on beeped and started by itself. The belt began to roll, slow at first, then faster, faster, until it was spinning like someone invisible was sprinting full force. The reflection confirmed it. He was still on it. Pale face, eyes locked, feet pounding the belt. I stumbled toward the exit, swiping my key fob against the door. The lock clicked green, but the door wouldn't budge. It felt like someone was holding it closed from the other side. Behind me, the treadmill shrieked as the belt snapped. The machine let out a metallic groan before going still. When I dared to glance at the mirror, he wasn't running anymore. He was standing, closer to the glass, closer to me. And then he leaned forward and whispered something I couldn't hear, because it wasn't sound. It was inside my head. The door finally gave way, and I bolted out into the night. But I swear, even as I drove home, every reflective surface, my car mirror, my phone screen, even the window glass, kept showing me the same thing. That pale face. Still running, still getting closer. Story 3, the trainer who wasn't on staff. It was a weeknight, close to midnight, when I decided to squeeze in one last session. The place was empty, just how I liked it. No waiting for machines, no small talk, just silence and weights. I racked up for bench press, heavier than I usually go. Maybe too heavy for being alone that late. As I slid under the bar, I heard a voice behind me. "You sure about that weight?" I nearly jumped. A man stood just beyond the bench. Black hoodie, hood up, shadow hiding most of his face. "Need a spot?" he asked. My heart was racing, but I didn't want to look stupid. Yeah, thanks." He stepped closer, hands hovering just under the bar. I pressed once, twice. Everything felt fine. On the third rep, my arms gave way. The bar dropped toward my chest. He caught it instantly. Strong grip, steady. "Easy there," he said, his voice calm. He racked the bar like it weighed nothing. "Appreciate it," I managed. He nodded, expression hidden in the shadow of his hood. I sat up, turned to thank him again, but he was already gone. No sound of footsteps, no door, no nothing. I shook it off. Maybe he walked off quick, maybe I didn't notice. But then I spotted it. The mirrors lining the wall reflected the weight area, and him, still standing right behind me. I spun around, empty. When I looked back at the mirror, he was closer, right over my shoulder. I stumbled back, nearly knocking into a rack of dumbbells. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Notification? Gym staff available for assistance. The app only sends that during staffed hours, and I knew the night shift ended at 10. I grabbed my bag, shaking, and made for the exit. The keypad lit up red. Access denied. Behind me, weights clattered, one after another dropping, like someone was curling and slamming them down. Then his voice again, right by my ear. "You shouldn't lift what you can't handle." I bolted to the other exit, shoved hard until the door swung open. I didn't even bother checking out. The next morning, I went back in daylight. The clerk at the front desk smiled and said, "Late night session, huh?" I hesitated. "Yeah, who was the guy spotting last night?" Her smile faded. "What guy?" "The one in the hoodie," I said. "Strong, quiet. Helped me with bench press." She shook her head slowly. "We don't have staff after 10, and trust me, you don't want anyone spotting you after midnight in this place." I asked her what she meant, but she just looked at me with this tight, nervous expression, like she'd already said too much. I haven't touched a bench press alone since. Story 4. The showers that never turned off. It was nearly 3 a.m. when I swiped into the gym. The place was dead silent, like always at that hour. My keycard history later confirmed it. No one else had checked in. I stretched, hit a few sets, then decided to shower before heading home. That's when I heard it. The sound of water. Showers hissing, echoing off the tiled walls. I froze at the locker room door. At first I thought maybe pipes were leaking, but no. The sound was steady, rhythmic, like someone was scrubbing under the spray, and then I heard it. A low, almost playful humming, like a woman singing softly to herself. I felt my stomach twist. The hair on my arms rose. Still, I called out, trying to sound normal. Sorry, didn't think anyone else was here." The humming stopped. Silence filled the locker room, heavy and suffocating. The only sound left was the hiss of the shower. I took a hesitant step forward. Steam curled lazily out of the corner stall, thick enough to fog the mirror. I swallowed hard and peeked around the divider. The water was running full blast, but the stall was empty. I reached in, turned the handle off. The pipes groaned, water cut off. I backed away. That's when another shower 2 stalls down erupted. Full pressure, spraying wildly. And this time, the humming started again. I bolted out of the locker room, heart racing, telling myself I'd just skip the shower and leave. But the door wouldn't open. My keycard beeped red. Denied. From inside the locker room came the sound of multiple showers turning on, one after another, until the room roared with water. The humming rose into singing now. A voice without words, high and distorted, echoing against the tiles. I forced myself back inside, eyes darting. Every stall gushed water. Steam rolled across the floor like fog. And then, footsteps. Wet, bare footsteps slapping the tile. Getting closer. "Who's there?" I shouted, panic edging my voice. No answer. Just the singing. I spun toward the mirror. Through the steam, my reflection wavered. And behind me, clear as day, stood a woman. Long hair plastered to her face, her mouth moving with the song. I whipped around. Nothing, just stalls pouring water. Drains gurgling under the flood. When I looked back at the mirror, she was closer. Her lips still moving, but now I could hear her whisper. "Stay!" I bolted, ramming the door with my shoulder until the lock gave way. I stumbled into the night air, dripping with sweat. The moment I cleared the threshold, every shower cut off at once. Silence. Later, when I told the clerk what happened, she just shook her head. "Don't use the showers after midnight," she said flatly. "They were shut down years ago, after the accident." I asked what accident. She didn't answer, and I didn't push it. Story 5. The keycard. That let me in. Twice. It was one of those nights when I couldn't sleep, so I figured I'd tire myself out with a quick session. The parking lot was empty, no cars but mine. I swiped my keycard at the door. Beep. Green light. Door clicked open. As I stepped inside, the scanner display blinked. "Welcome back. 12:14 a.m. That made me pause. Back? I brushed it off. Maybe a glitch. The gym was silent, just the soft buzz of fluorescent lights. I headed straight for the squat rack. Halfway through my warm-up set, I noticed something strange. The security monitor behind the front desk flickered. I squinted. The cameras were on a split screen: parking lot, main floor, locker room. And there I was, in the footage. Only, the me on the monitor was walking toward the locker room, while the real me was standing right there, staring at it. I froze, dropped the barbell back onto the rack with a loud clang. On the screen, other me stopped too, like he heard it. Then slowly, he turned his head toward the camera. I swear his eyes locked with mine through the grainy feed. My stomach dropped. "Nope," I muttered, grabbing my bag. I headed for the exit, but when I swiped my card, red light, access denied. I tried again, denied. Behind me, a door creaked open. I turned slowly. The locker room door was ajar. A shadow stretched across the tiles, long and wrong, like it wasn't shaped by the lights in the room. I whispered, "Hello?" No answer. But the cameras showed him, my double, walking back out, heading toward the main floor. I stumbled backward, nearly tripping over a bench. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Notification. Sign-in confirmed. 12:14 a.m. Again, the sound of footsteps echoed across the gym floor. Heavy, deliberate. I ducked behind the desk, heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my teeth. The monitor showed him moving closer. But on the floor in front of me, nothing. I risked peeking up at the mirror wall, and that's when I saw it. My reflection wasn't alone. He was there beside me in the glass, walking toward me. But in the real gym, the space was empty. I bolted for the emergency exit, slammed into it. The alarm blared, but the door wouldn't open. On the monitor, he was only a few steps behind. Closer, I threw my keycard at the scanner in panic. This time, it beeped green. The door clicked open. I stumbled into the night, sprinted across the lot, and didn't look back until I was in my car. When I did, the lobby lights flickered, and in the glass, I saw him, standing where I'd been seconds before, smiling. The next day, I demanded the staff check the security logs. The clerk frowned and pulled it up. He looked at me, confused. "Your card was used twice last night," he said. "Same time. Same second." I asked what that meant. He just shook his head and asked me the question that still keeps me awake. "If you were already inside, then who's swiping in now?"